Hello everyone, nubkeks here, and welcome back to Nub Raids. Who is this new champion here lurking in the fragment section? Guurda Bogbrew. Well, this is almost definitely going to be the new login reward champion that's going to come in after Sion. I know that I'm a few days off. There's people that are ahead of me, so this is the right time for them to add in the next login reward, and this is going to be her. Let's take a look at her kit. She is a legendary for the Ogren tribes. Excuse me. She's a support of the Force Affinity. It's really early in the morning here. Well, I mean, really early for me. Haven't had my morning coffee, so bear with me, yeah? Anyway, let's dive in. So her A1, Brew Mama, attacks one enemy, 60% chance of applying a debuff spread effect, taking one random debuff from the target and placing it on all enemies under weakened debuffs, decreases the target's turn meter by 10% if they're not under any debuffs. I think this is actually a really good A1. You know, it's not 100% chance, 60%, I guess probably 65% with Sniper. I think that's how that interaction works. But debuff spread's actually pretty great. And yeah, I think that's a cool A1. Her A2, Rot Limb Decoction, 4-turn cooldown, books to a 3-turn cooldown, attacks all enemies, has a 100% chance when booked of placing 25% weakened debuff for 2 turns. After attacking, has a 100% chance when booked of placing 2 poison debuffs for 2 turns on all enemies without weakened debuffs. These poison debuffs cannot be blocked or resisted. So I guess this is definitely interesting. It's definitely an intriguing ability. I mean, I guess you could technically build her with absolutely no accuracy, and she would then be placing 2 poison debuffs after her AoE. Because they can't be blocked or resisted, so it doesn't matter if she's no accuracy. But I think considering her debuff spread and her A3, I think you would build her with accuracy, in which case these poisons would be placed pretty much. You know, if you got really unlucky with the weekend, it would place poisons, or more likely, if they've blocked debuffs on. It's basically a way to put debuffs past block debuffs, which is kind of crazy. It's kind of interesting. Or if you do fight an enemy with, I guess, really high resistance, she's still going to do this. You know, if they ever add increased resistance to the game, this could be a thing. So it's an interesting A2. I mean, most of the time, I think it's basically going to be a 3-turn AoE that places weaken. Which is okay. It's only okay. Then her A3 is probably the highlight of her kit. Hemlock Surprise. 4-turn cooldown, 3 turns when booked. Has a 80% books up to 100% chance of removing 1 random buff from all enemies. Then has a 100% chance when booked of placing 2 poison debuffs on all enemies for 2 turns. And also removes 2 random debuffs from all allies. I think this is actually a really nice move. This is a solid move. You know, remove 1 random buff from all enemies. Okay, it's random, but it's still, you know, it's not bad. That's still a little bit and then it's basically gonna place 2 poisons in AoE, and then remove 2 debuffs from all allies on a 3-turn cooldown. I think that's a really, really good move. That's a great move. I mean, it's pretty comparable when you think about it. If we compare her to someone like Rishtov the Bold, he comes in and he's going to put 3 poison debuffs on all enemies with a single target attack on a 3-turn cooldown. And he's really good for that. She's getting 1 less poison out, but then it also has the effect of doing a 2 debuff cleanse from allies, doing a 1 buff cleanse from enemies. I think it's a great move. I think that's actually great. Lots of utility there. It's a pity that poisons don't work against the Hydra. Man, if poisons worked against more Hydra heads, I think this would be a brilliant move, and she'd be a brilliant champion to bring into Hydra, bringing you some cleansing, some buff purge. Yeah, it would be good. Then she also has a passive, Malign Tendrils. Whenever an enemy receives a debuff, their turn meter is decreased by 3%. And then she has an aura which gives you 65 resist in arena battles, which is probably not the most useful thing in the world. But yeah, she's looking fly as well. Looks lovely. I like her mushrooms quite a lot. They're quite cool. But yeah, I think she looks cool. I think she's super fun. Yeah, I think I don't think she's like a top tier legendary by any means, but I think she's going to be a solid legendary. You do get her pretty late into the game, so we'll have to see whether she makes it into any teams. Yeah, we'll see. But perhaps, you know, if you are trying to build some of those speed clear poison teams, she could be an okay option to bring in. You know, replacing champions like possibly, because she's got really good defensive stats too. She could possibly come in and replace like Eurogrim in some teams, like some speed clear teams. I'm not sure. I mean, we'll have to see. But there you go. That is Guurda Bogbrew. Let me know what you think. Are you excited to get her? Would you use her in any teams? I kind of I feel like if you got her earlier in the game, she'd be super cool support. But it's just you do get her very far in, right? But yeah, let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.